Woman on platform number 8. It was my second year at boarding school, and I was sitting on platform number 8 at Ambala station, waiting for the northern-bound train. I think I was about 12 at that time. My parents considered me old enough to travel alone, and I had arrived by bus at Ambala early in the evening. Now there was a wait till midnight before my train arrived.
"Are you all alone, my son?"
asked a soft voice close behind me. I looked up and saw a woman standing near me. She was leaning over, and I saw a pale face and dark, kind eyes. She wore no jewels and was dressed very simply in a white sari.
"Yes, I am going to school,"
I said, and stood up respectfully. She seemed poor, but there was a dignity about her that commanded respect.
"I have been watching you for some time,"
she said.
"Didn't your parents come to see you off?"
"I don't live here. I had to change trains. Anyway, I can travel alone."
"I'm sure you can,"
she said, and I liked her for saying that. And I also liked her for the simplicity of her dress and for her deep, soft voice and the serenity of her face.
"Tell me, what is your name?"
she asked. Arun, I said.
"And how long do you have to wait for your train?"
"About an hour, I think. It comes at 12 o'clock.
"Then come with me and have something to eat."
I was going to refuse out of shyness and suspicion, but she took me by the hand, and then I felt it would be silly to pull my hand away. I looked up at her again. She must have been over 30, but had she been 50, I think she would have looked much the same. She took me into the station dining room, ordered tea and samosas and jalebis, and at once I began to thaw and take a new interest in this kind woman. She questioned me quietly from time to time, but preferred listening. She drew me out very well, and I had soon forgotten that we were strangers. But she did not ask me about my family or where I lived, and I did not ask her where she lived. I accepted her for what she had been to me, a quiet, kind and gentle woman who gave sweets to a lonely boy on a railway platform. After some time, we walked back together in silence until we reached the place where I had left my case. One of my schoolfellows, Satish, a boy of about my age, had turned up with his mother. We shook hands, and then he turned to his mother and said, "This is Arun, mother. He is one of my friends."
"I am glad to know that,"
said his mother, a large, imposing woman. She looked at the woman who led my hand and said,
"And I suppose you're Arun's mother?"
I opened my mouth to make some explanation, but before I could say anything, the woman replied,
"Yes, I am Arun's mother."
I was unable to speak a word. I looked quickly up at the woman, but she did not appear to be at all embarrassed and was smiling at Satish's mother. Satish's mother said,
"It's such a nuisance having to wait for the train right in the middle of the night. But one can't let the child wait here alone. These days, one has to be very careful of strangers." "Arun can travel alone, though,"
said the woman beside me, and somehow I felt grateful to her for saying that. I had already forgiven her for lying, and besides, I had taken an instinctive dislike to Satish's mother.
"Well, be very careful, Arun,"
said Satish's mother, looking sternly at me.
"Be very careful when your mother is not with you. Never talk to strangers."
I looked from Satish's mother to the woman who had given me tea and sweets, and then back at Satish's mother. "I like strangers," I said. Satish's mother definitely staggered a little, and obviously she was not used to being contradicted by small boys.
"There you are, you see. If you don't watch over them all the time, they'll walk straight into trouble. Always listen to what your mother tells you, and never talk to strangers,"
she said, wagging a fat little finger at me. "And never talk to strangers." The station bell clanged, and the people who had till now been squatting resignedly on the platform began bustling about. The train moved slowly into the station, the engine hissing and sending out waves of steam. As it came to a stop, Satish jumped on the footboard of a lighted compartment and shouted, "Come on, Arun, this one's empty." I picked up my suitcase and made a dash for the open door. We placed ourselves at the open windows, and the two women stood outside on the platform, talking up to us. Satish's mother did most of the talking. I was smarting under the patronizing tone of Satish's mother, who obviously thought mine a very poor family, and I did not intend giving the other woman away. I let her take my hand in hers, but I could think of nothing to say. I was conscious of Satish's mother staring at us with hard, beady eyes, and I found myself hating her with a firm, unreasoning hate. The guard walked up the platform, blowing his whistle for the train to leave. I looked straight into the eyes of the woman who held my hand, and she smiled in a gentle, understanding way. I leaned out of the window, my lips to her cheek, and kissed her. The carriage jolted forward, and she drew her hand away.
Goodbye, Mother,
said Satish as the train began to move slowly out of the station. Satish and his mother waved to each other. Goodbye, I said to the other woman.
Goodbye, Mother.
I didn't wave or shout, but sat still in front of the window, gazing at the woman on the platform. Satish's mother was talking to her, but she didn't appear to be listening. She was looking at me as the train took me away. She stood there on the busy platform, a pale, sweet woman in white, and I watched her until she was lost in the milling crowd.